Hi everybody, Jake here. Hope everyone's doing well today. Hope everyone's having a very good Tuesday today. I know I certainly am. What I wanted to discuss with you guys today is some winners and losers through 2 weeks for the Browns. I know we only have 2 weeks of data, and it's pretty soon to make any far gone conclusions for anybody on the Browns to this point. But through 2 weeks, I just wanted to give you some of my thoughts, some of the guys that I'm really impressed with, and some of the guys I'm not so impressed with. So. Let's go ahead and jump into this video. We'll start with the winners. I like to be more optimistic on this channel. I know we have to discuss the negative, but I wanted to discuss winners so far, guys, I've been really impressed with. So let's jump into this. Guy I've been most impressed with probably so far for the Browns, and I'm going to do my little victory lap real quick. Harold Fannin. If you guys watched any of my draft coverage from the draft this year, you know that I was all about Harold Fannin. I wanted the Browns to take him in the second round. I thought he'd be even a higher pick than he was. The Browns got him in the third pick. I was doing victory laps all day long whenever the Browns drafted him, and now with how productive he's been so far, you can't help but be excited about what you have in Harold Fannin. He leads the team, in receptions so far. He has 12 receptions on the year, 111 yards. He's just behind Jerry Jeudy by 6 yards in total yards so far. Harold Fannin, we knew we were going to go back to the heavier sets, the two tight end looks, and you certainly have gotten that with Harold Fannin and David Njoku. David Njoku's been pretty productive as well, but Harold Fannin he seems to be the heartbeat of the Browns offense so far. You even saw in the Baltimore game, he was involved very early in the game. So Harold Fannin is the guy I'm most impressed with so far. We'll see what the outlook of the rest of the season is like, but I can only see Harold Fannin's usage going up as the season goes along. He's just a rookie, so this is probably the worst of Harold Fannin you're going to see throughout the year. He's just going to grow into this role, and he's going to get better as the year goes on. So we'll start with Harold Fannin is the guy I've been impressed with the most on the offensive side of the football, followed up by guys I'm also impressed with. We get two more rookies, Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson. My most recent video I did on the recap of the Browns-Ravens game, I wasn't very high on Quinshon Judkins. I guess I just didn't see it as much in the game against Baltimore because the Browns just got clobbered in that game. But if you go back and watch the film on Judkins in that Ravens game, you see the yards after carry there. He's getting around the edge. You see the burst there. He kind of combines the best of both worlds with the power rushing and the speed game. You saw he had that 20-yard run at the very end of the game. The contact balance was excellent. He was able to shake off two tackles and get in the open field. So a lot of it was there for Quinshon Judkins that I just didn't see in the moment while the game was going on, but I was able to go back, look at some of the film on Judkins, and be really, really impressed with what I saw in him. And I'm really excited to see more out of Judkins as the year goes on. Again, this is another case of a guy that is only going to get better as the year goes on. Judkins was fighting the legal battle early in the year, so how involved was he even in team practices, team meetings? He's just going to get more comfortable as the year goes on. So I'm really excited from what I saw from Quinshon Judkins in the last game against the Ravens. And then Dylan Sampson, not as involved in the Ravens game. Didn't seem his role was very used, I should say, in the Ravens game. But you saw a lot of what the vision is with Dylan Sampson in the Cincinnati game. The kind of receiving back out of the backfield. He's more the elusive runner, more the speed guy in Dylan Sampson, and it's just very exciting what we have in this backfield. I believe that it is going to be a very formidable unit going forward, and I'm really, really excited about what the Browns have to offer in the backfield. And that kind of concludes the Browns' offense. So let's jump into defense. Winners on the defensive side of the ball that I've been impressed with through 2 weeks. We'll start with the linebacking room, Devin Bush and Carson Schlesinger. It doesn't show up. It doesn't feel like you see it as much whenever the game is going on, but Devin Bush and Carson Schlesinger lead the team in total tackles, Devin Bush with 15 and Schlesinger with 13 here. They are just involved. After the JOK news had come out that he was going to be done and we don't know what his career looks like going forward, it really felt like the Browns were gutted at linebacker. but it does not seem to be the case. The Browns really do have something here with Devin Bush. Devin Bush, we all know, was kind of a bust coming out of college and never really showed a whole lot in Pittsburgh, but the Browns have really rejuvenated this young man's career, and I really believe we have something in Devin Bush and Schlesinger. We know this rookie class has just been phenomenal for the Browns. So Schlesinger just feels like he is one that feels like he is involved in every play. Not as much in the Ravens game, but you saw especially in the second half of the Bengals game the vision is with Schlesinger. He just kind of plays with his hair on fire, and he's already wearing the green dot. So the Browns linebacker room, you just have to be really, really impressed with what they've put on tape so far. And going forward, you just have to be excited. To follow up with that, the Browns defensive line I've been really impressed with. I know that it doesn't look great giving up 41 against the Ravens like they did, but Myles Garrett has 3.5 sacks. We know what we get in Myles Garrett. But then you see guys like Malik Collins, you see Mason Graham, you see this defensive line, and you see what it is. They're getting pressure when, especially early on. Look in the Baltimore game, the pressure they were generating against Lamar Jackson. I mean, the Browns were very much in it until they weren't, until a lot of things that the Browns defense couldn't control took place. The Browns defense is going to win them some games this year, and I'm very, very high in this defensive line going forward. I believe the Browns really have something in Mason Graham. I've said it a couple times already in this video, but this is the worst you're going to get out of Mason Graham so far. He's just going to grow into his role, and I think he's going to have a very good career as it goes on. You'll see a very good season out of him as he gets more comfortable in his role in this offense. Again, like I said, we know what we get in Myles Garrett. He's going to hold it down, but even Isaiah McGuire, Alex Wright have looked good so far. I'm very impressed with the defensive line for the Browns as a whole. So that concludes kind of my winners so far throughout the year, who I've been excited about, who I've looked on tape, and I think, wow, they really flash at times. Let's unfortunately jump into some of the losers that I feel the Browns have right now. Guys, we need to see more of if this team wants to win some games here. The biggest ones being, we'll start on the defensive side of the ball, Cam Mitchell and Myles Harden. The Bengals game doesn't show it as much. The Browns did a good job in the Bengals game, kind of brought some relief to the worries that we had about this secondary. The slot corner position, since Martin Emerson went down, you really didn't know what you were going to get out of the slot corner position, and I don't believe we have the answers in Cam Mitchell and Myles Harden. Cam Mitchell was just getting torched in that Ravens game. I counted like 3 touchdowns he gave up. If you watched my recap, I didn't think it was as bad as it really was. Cam Mitchell gave up like 3 touchdowns, and you can throw at me, you can throw the scheme thing at me, you can say, oh, well, he should have had safety help here, or, oh, he should have been doing this, but this all looks like man coverage, and he's just getting beat. Cam Mitchell's just not doing enough, and you really didn't see it in training camp, and you haven't heard good things out of Browns camp at all about Cam Mitchell. So I'm really worried about what they have in these two corners. And Myles Harden did give up the touchdown. We're like 20 yards from the end zone, and he's getting burnt deep. How is this happening? You can throw at me the scheme all day long. Ronnie Hickman needs to come over. But this all looks like man coverage that you're just getting torched on. So I'm not too excited from what I've seen from Cam Mitchell and Myles Harden. It just has to be better if the Browns are going to get to where they want to go. So those are the first two of the losers that I've seen so far for the Browns. And then offensively, I will clump the whole unit together as one. The receiving corps just hasn't been good enough. You had questions coming into this season with Jerry Jeudy and Cedric Tillman, David Njoku. We know the connection that he had with Joe Flacco last season, but it hasn't been good enough from the Browns wide receivers. Jerry Jeudy does lead the team in yards, but a lot of it, especially in the Bengals game, he had a lot of garbage time touches, a lot of drops. You're just seeing stuff that you just can't have happen if you're going to be a good football team, and they're really not offering Joe Flacco any sort of relief. So I haven't been impressed from what I've saw with Jerry Jeudy so far and Cedric Tillman. You just see too many drops. It's just not good enough. They're not doing enough to create separation. I haven't been impressed with it, and they just got to be better. And I guess I will finish this off with the biggest loser so far has been Joe Flacco. I thought he actually played pretty well in the Cincinnati game. I still stand by that. I think Flacco had a great game against Cincinnati, but the Ravens game has really flustered me a little bit. I hated what I saw out of Joe Flacco in that game, 25 for 45, and it's just not good enough. Everybody's kind of throwing around that it has been the offensive line, that Joe Flacco is just not getting enough time to throw the ball. But really, if you go back and watch the game, watch the tape on it, he held the ball way too long. That you can blame it on the receivers. I just talked about how I don't believe the receivers are creating enough separation. They're not doing enough to help Joe Flacco. Yeah, but you got to find a way to get this ball out. Joe Flacco threw the inconceivable interception that kind of put the Browns out of it. When the Browns get behind like this, and then you had these turnovers that you just can't have happen, then it puts the Browns out of the game. Joe Flacco throws the interception. We knew he had the fumble 6. I think it was Roquan Smith picked up the fumble and returned it for a touchdown. Just too many mistakes. You don't see Joe Flacco pushing the ball down the field. You see a lot of the dink and dunk game that we even saw with Deshaun Watson. I don't even want to say that. But a lot of the stuff is around the line of scrimmage. He's not throwing the ball past the sticks. I just didn't see enough out of Joe Flacco, and I saw enough in the Ravens game that really, really worried me going forward. Next game, I got to see Flacco get the ball out quicker. I got to see this wide receiving core create some separation, help their quarterback down the field. It's not been good enough on the offensive side of the ball. And then defensively, we got to see better out of the slack corners in Cam Mitchell and Miles Harden, or the Browns are going to have to look elsewhere to get some production in this secondary. So those are kind of my thoughts on this one, what I'm thinking, winners and losers of what we had so far for the Browns. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if I got it wrong. Let me know if there's anybody that comes to mind that's a winner or loser so far. I love to hear what you guys have to say. If you guys haven't had an opportunity, go ahead and check in the description. My X account is in there. I'd love for you guys to give me a follow. We can interact over there. I love interacting with you guys. So leave a comment. Let me know what you guys thought. Let me know your thoughts on this video. As always, I appreciate you guys for watching. Go Brownies, baby.